This is MassX with a brand new Yu Yu Hakusho Slugfest video, and we're going to talk about, now that it's been a little time, the game's been out a few weeks, you're starting to get plenty of characters because they give out a lot of polls. Now the question is, how do you approach your team building and what direction you want to go to? Well, one of the nice things with this game is, and I like this, is that it does not have an autofill feature for doing your team, which makes you have to go in and think about how you're going to build your team. I did a tier list not long ago talking about the characters and I did that based on versatility, but when it comes down to it, these characters do coexist, certain ones, to benefit each other in such a way that maybe a character that doesn't necessarily on its own look that good and wouldn't rank that high could be very good for you and what type of team you want to build. So somebody posted in the comments that they wanted to do a Chu team, so I wanted to go ahead and use that as the basis for how we would build this team. And the irony with that is, out of the recommended lineups in here, they're all fine, but I'm not really ecstatic about most of them. But the one that is similar to a team I had built previously when I played this game is the high frequency trauma team, which does have Chu in it. And the reason why I played a type of team like this previously is because of Jin, and I've talked about that before, my favorite character. So I wanted to have some team that I could use, maybe not my best, but I wanted to build a very functional team with him previously. So let's talk about how you approach this and how you build your teams. Now for me, I always start with the basis of what do I want to do, or what character do I want to build around. So let's talk about Jin, because that's how I focused it previously. And of course, Jin is really all about trauma. Okay, and accentuating that and getting them to hit more and to do more damage. But one of the nice things with this game is when you look at a character, you can see the resonance, which applies when you deploy characters together. So for instance, in Jin's place here, Risho is that character, which Risho is a really good character, and I really like this character. So when you notice, when they're deployed, when Rishu, Jin's damage reduction increases by 15% upon entering battle. All allies debuff hit rates increase by 50%. Okay, that's actually really good. And Rishu is going to give you healing. He's going to give you viability, sustainability for your team. A very good character. On top of that, when he is with Jin in the same team, Risho's damage reduction increases by 15%, and while alive, all ally skin point reduction resistance increases by 30% and skill point restoration rate by 20%, which is actually really great. That's going to slow your opponent down to a certain degree, but mainly it's going to help prevent you from being slowed down and increase your ability to let those skills off. So hopefully Jin, for instance, is doing more hits and giving more trauma more frequently. So they're a great tandem. So that's a great place to start, because you know they're going to work well together. And of course, the higher you get these characters, the more they're going to be able to do for you. But again, you really do have to plan out how you want to build your teams, because in the end, you're going to be pushing for dupes those characters to open up their skills, to get the awakening going, all the way to when you get their equipment up and possibly even an exclusive on them. So then where do you go from there? Well, we were talking about the use of Chu, and somebody wanted to build a team with Chu. So you can see right here, the resonance for Chu works with Rinku, who is absolutely a phenomenal character and was higher up on my tier list because he can be useful in all sorts of different comps, but we'll get into that in a second. So let's say you want to get your Chu in there, and why would you use Chu with even Jin? Let's talk about that. Well, you can see with Chu, when you get him to 3, When casting skills, if the target is inflicted with trauma, additionally launch one follow-up attack. So he's going to get a follow-up if somebody has trauma. So you say you've got Jin rolling out first, that trauma is going to be on that other team most likely immediately when the game starts. And how's Rinku going to help you out, and why would you use him into this team? Well, first off, of course, it's going to benefit Chu when deployed with him. Chu's ignore defense increases by 10%, which is really big. And when Rinku casts a skill attack, Chu immediately gains 100 skill points. So that's a huge benefit for Chu. So you really do want him paired up with him. But then Rinku, who's absolutely a really good character, is going to put out there his shackle or cooperation, which is really great. And I like his skill set because you get a choice when you're using him on how you want to build that team. And let me talk to you about why that is. Marrying on where you place Rinku on your team, front row or back row, is going to be based on you're going to effectively be able to use shackle or cooperation, which makes him really cool because if you put him on the front, he increases the ally's skill point reduction hit rate by 50%. And when in cooperation status, he increases all allies' skill point reduction resistance by 50%. So you have two ways to approach it. If you're playing a team that you know is going to have a lot of pressure on reducing your ability to produce skill points, and of course you're going to want him on the front row, and vice versa if you think you can go more offensively. But that's a side note for Rinku. It makes him really flexible and you can use him in different ways, and just a very good character for skill point manipulation and assisting your team makeup. And on top of that, when Rinku is paired up with Chu, he's also getting damage reduction that increases by 15%. And when he enters battle, his self skill point is reduced while hit rate and debuff hit rate increase by 50% for 3 turns. So now you really have the reason why these 4 characters would probably work really well together interchangeably, which is really nice. Now there's 2 more spots to go. So you've got Chu, you know and him and Jin are gonna really work well. You know Rinku is going to be able to be that type of supporter which you would like to have on your team. And then of course you've got Risho, who's gonna be again healing, helping your team stay alive, just the other wall on that front line. So now you gotta think what other pieces you need. Do you really need another DPS? Do you think you need more support, more healing? So let's look and see then how you approach that. Now to me, you could always go with Hiei for one of those slots because he's gonna add more trauma and pressure to your opponent, and effectively with Rinku set up more offensively, could possibly be earning skill points quicker and could be able to hit much more, which is going to be devastating to your opponent because now you're going to have Jin, who's an AoE trauma. You're going to have Hiei, who's an AoE trauma. You're going to have Chu doing what he does in the follow-up. So now you've got some serious pressure. But then you've got Zeru. And Zeru's an interesting character with trauma teams because he gives that extra little push. Okay, and let's talk about it. And this is why you need to look at the characters and know what type of team you want to build. So just looking at his awakened forms, first just at 1, when the front row allies trauma type statuses are detonated, increase all allies skill points by 100 and reduce all enemy skill points by 100. That has great synergy with Rinku. It also is going to help your team be able to hit quicker and faster with those skills. So it really is a great character for this type of team, and he only gets better. And it continues on with him, like I said, you know, when allies with Scorched take single target attacks, it detonates those traumas on the attacker, which is great. And that Scorch will, if you have it at 3 before Awaken even, it's going to automatically apply a stack of Scorch to all allies as battle starts, and it lasts for 2 turns, which is awesome. Now, in the recommended lineup, they had Yusuke Urameshi Spirit Wave, which is fine. You know, I can see why they put it in there, but that really wouldn't be the way I go. Like I talked about, if you had SP Hiei, I think that would be really good for some serious pressure on your opponent with the trauma, with a lot of offense to strike them. But if you don't have him, I think a better choice is Roto, and I know a lot of people really like this character. I like him, but I think I like him only in particular team comps. I don't feel like I can just interchange him all the time. So that's why I don't put him as high on my tier list, but that doesn't discount the character, because in a team like this, I think he can be very good. He pairs well with Shu. If you're already playing Zeru already on the team, that's going to help out things immensely, because when deployed with Zeru, Roto ignores 10% of enemy defense, which is great, and Roto does follow-up like Chu, which is really nice to have. So you've got 2 characters doing follow-up. On top of that, when Zeru first defeats an enemy unit, Roto's crit rate increases by 50% until the end of battle, which makes him more lethal as a single target hitter. So now, let's say right now that the team we've been talking about, you've got 2 AoEs doing trauma. You've got 2 that are more single attackers. Then you've got your healing, and then you got your support, in particular the skill points. So now you really have a well-rounded team, and it really does help Zeru too, because when like I said, when Roto's on that field, he's able to get that extra crit from Zeru, so now he's able to really clock in and do some serious stuff. And on top of that, the resonance, Zeru gets damage reduction increase, but all ally companions debuff hit rate increases by 50%, which is going to help them getting those in place on your opponent. So yeah, to me, the team in the end would be Roto and Zeru. On top of that, you've got like Jin, which we've talked about, and Chu, and Riku, and Risho, over what you see from the recommended lineup. Again, like I said, if you have SP Hiei, you could test him out over Roto. But again, I think that is an incredibly solid team, and this is how you should approach your teams when you're building them in this game. You need to pick your main character that you really want to focus on, and right now in the game, a lot of people are going to pick somebody that they've been able to build up already. See what that character does, then look to the characters that complement it. And once you get at least 1 or 2 characters that complement that main character, then you want to fill out, what do you want this team to do? Do you want them to tank? Do you want them to heal a lot? Do you want them to have that skill point manipulation? What's going to effectively help them out the best? So that's kind of how you have to approach it in this game. And again, it's all going to be based too. These teams are going to get stronger and stronger as you dupe them out. So it is important to pick a team and go with it early on. Now again, the more you play this game, the longer you play this game, you're going to have more options, more characters built out, so you get a lot more creative. But right now, really, my opinion, my suggestion to everyone is always, especially if you're free to play or light spender, is focus on one team, period. Okay? Once you get them to a place you are really happy with, then move down to focusing on another team. I mean, I'm still pushing these characters to get them to where I want to be, to effectively be able to build a team with Chu and Jin, etc. So, all right, that's a little longer than I anticipated, but I felt like we really needed just to get into just the basics and how to approach team building in this game. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.